Hey everybody, it's Colette Baron-Reid. Welcome to this week's Oracle Card Guidance and Listen. And we are using the 7 Energies Oracle Card deck. And I'm going to be using the Celtic Cross spread to show you the energy that's influencing all of us this week. And then tomorrow you're going to watch the Astro Oracle reading, which you get then a very intimate glimpse into your destiny this week because we're using your astrology tomorrow. So this is really for everybody. So when I do a reading like this, I'm looking at the overarching themes that are woven into the fabric of our consciousness, whether we're aware of it or not. So it's kind of like, you know, it's actually, if you look at astrology, for example, and you see the map in the sky and how it reflects what goes on the planet, it's the same sort of thing with this type of reading. I'm actually reading the energy, and then I'm saying, okay, here's how it applies to us, and then you figure out how it works for you. But then tomorrow you get a much more intimate look. Hi, Mark.
Hello. You know what?
What?
What we have to tell people is...
What do we have to tell people?
We have a challenge coming up.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
April 14th.
Yes.
Yay! April 14th. Any day now.
Yes.
Any day now.
Yes.
So
what do they do?
Well, you're going to sign up. There's going to be a link, right? Listen, okay? Don't stop it. He makes fun of me and then in front of you. There's a link, okay? This is what you do.
I'm not don't make me the bad guy.
No,
you
come
just
on.
gotta tell them stuff, right?
You tell them then.
Okay, we're having a challenge. There is a link somewhere here on this page that you click on. It starts on the 14th. It's our 7 Energies challenge.
Yes, and it goes for 8 days. We have this amazing attunement on the 8th day, which is at 7 p.m. on the 21st. Eastern Standard Time. It's a big party. It'll be fabulous. And every day we're going to go through... Yeah, and we're going to go through one of the energies, one of the themes or the stories that you tell about your life. And we're going to get you nice and re-energized.
There we go.
Recalibrated. Renewed. Re-everything. Here we go. All right, so let's take a look. He's so cute. Let's take a look at what is the first card. Now, in a Celtic Cross, the first card is a reflection of where you are right now. And the first card, it's actually one of my favorite looking cards. Jenna did such a beautiful art design on these cards. My partner, Jenna de la Gratalia, my creative partner. The uncharted sea represents that which we do not know. So we've stepped into a tremendous amount of uncertainty, but we've been there for the past year. So we already know that we've been in uncertainty for a long time. It's become part of our daily sense of the world. But we're going through these waves now. So this is like we're on a wave. And so uncharted sea says you might think you know, but you really don't. And it's much better to say, I don't know, and enter each day with curiosity. But this does show us still in a sense of feeling that we are uncertain. Okay, but there's a lot of good that can come out of that as long as you don't buy into fear. Okay, so let's see what crosses us. Now, this is a card that either tells us the nature of our obstacle, and a lot of times the obstacle is in our consciousness or in our unconscious. It's a feeling state that the collective has together, and then there's an invitation to either overcome it or then to look at its quality, right? So it could tell us what's helping us over it or what's actually causing it. And Endless Possibilities is a great card to cross us right now. Interesting, it says the uncharted sea, but Endless Possibilities is crossing us. And so on one hand, we would say the challenge with Endless Possibilities is that there's so many possible outcomes right now, and we don't know any of them. Or also that there's a sense of unlimited quality to energy, and we need limits, we need boundaries, etc. So we could feel like that baby without swaddling, which is so true for many of us right now. And the outcomes are varied. Many parallel realities are possible at the moment. But the other beautiful thing about this is that we have a lot of choices right now. And that's what this card indicates as well, that there are choices for us to make at the moment. And that's the gift of this. So really, we can say we don't know, but we still need to take action. We still need to keep the boat on the water, and we might need to steer it a little bit and say, or we make a decision and we say, you know what, right now, this is what I'm going to focus on. So it enables us to actually get a little bit more right-sized, but recognize that we are not defined by the uncertainty, that we could find our way and our navigation by trusting that we can make choices and we're not alone, right? We have a higher power. That's really key. Let's find out what's at the basis of this. Like, what's basically our foundation right now? Beyond the ordinary. Okay, so it's interesting, the uncharted sea and beyond the ordinary. The first and the second card, 46 and 45, they both relate to the energy of spirit, right? So it's the seventh energy. It's crossed by intuition and imagination. So it's also a reminder not to catastrophize. That's the other thing, like don't fear the worst. And also watch fake news too. I think when you get a lot of fear mongering going on these days. Here it talks about the fact that beyond our human comprehension, there is a whole universe working in our favor, guides, angels, whatever you may not even believe in any of that, but there's an orchestration going on in the invisible that we cannot see with our naked eye. So therefore, we tend to define ourselves by what the ordinary world. And that means that what is in front of us that might be challenging us then becomes our identity. And this is saying, no, your identity, your primary identity is spirit. The world that is orchestrating itself around all of our desires and needs for change and the transformation, we can't always see it, and likely we can't see it right now. So this is a real radical trust that we have to engage in right now, and it's an invitation to trust. Now, what have we learned? What lesson are we bringing in here? So that's what we go, oh, haha. We've learned about denial and how we may have lied to ourselves. I think about this sometimes like how I've projected, oh, I want it to be over. Therefore, I say, oh, there's a sign. It's going to be over at date, like March. And it's not, right? So there's this tendency to be attached to an outcome that then creates this sense of denial about where we need radical acceptance. So we have all experienced, also this is a total fake news thing. It's about when we are lied to, when we are not told the truth, when we are presented with only some of the truth, twisted, etc. So this is something we have come out of now, and this is something that says we need to recognize it. We've seen it all now, right? So the tall tale is I call it my creepy Pinocchio card. I told Jenna, make a creepy Pinocchio. And that's true. It's a tall tale. It's like when we lie to ourselves, we lie to the world, or when the world lies to us, or when we just don't know the truth, we try to make shit up to make ourselves feel good. Mystical pirate here. Ooh, beep. All right, whatever. I like a little salty language. What could I say? Okay, so what crowns us right now? Like what's the highest we can experience at the moment? And what could come to our aid in a way, like really come to us to help us? Okay. So it's a deep breath. And so this is the card related to fear. Okay, so whatever protocols, whatever you can do to disconnect and dislodge your fear. We're actually doing that, by the way, in the challenge. I'm going to be teaching you guys a very, very simple process in order for you to disconnect from your fear, because oftentimes what you're afraid of is very primitive. It has really nothing to do with what you're really faced with. We always are afraid of death, for example. That's part of the human condition. But we're also afraid of transformation and change. We don't know what it's going to be like. Remember, it says here, the uncharted sea, so we don't know what's coming. So there's a sense of like, I don't know what's there. Yeah, we don't. So the highest help we can get is to work on our fear. That's what we should be focused on right now, is to disengage from our fear and start practicing faith. And that is definitely, it comes from this first energy, which really does reflect the material world, or the world that we can touch, our ancestral patterns, our idea about survival, money, property, where we live, etc. And there's a lot of people who are suffering right now. That said, if we can start to trust more and then participate and contribute, we will start to see things change for us, but they might not change in the moment. So we have to know that sometimes we are going to deal with fear. And so there's a great book I read years ago. I think it was by Gerald Jumbalski, and I think it said, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. I think it was something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I remember seeing that, yes, you can't expect to be fearless all the time. That's what courage is for. And so this is an invitation to courage. And that if we pray and we meditate, and for me, prayer is to say, thy will be done through me, relieve me of the bondage of self so that I may better do thy will. And my higher power, I choose to call my higher power God some days. Sometimes it's the universe, sometimes it's source, sometimes it's the great divine. Who cares what it's called? I just know there's something who's large and in charge, not I. Okay, so the card around us is like, okay, so where are we heading? Like naturally, where's the natural flow that we are moving into? And it's really getting ourselves understanding that we cannot deny our grief, right? I mean, the world has changed dramatically. And I think people are starting to recognize that that idea of, we're going to go back to the way things were, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to. There is no the way things were. There's a new way. And so I think that we need to acknowledge, and this may be unconscious for some of us, that there is some grief here, that the world that we know it, the world as we know it or knew it, is changing, and it's not going back to the way it was. And there's a need again for radical trust and radical surrender, radical faith, and really getting that we have to participate and contribute the best that we can, but to deny our feelings is really super unhealthy. And how often have we been taught to deny our feelings? That's actually something that we're also going to be looking at in our 7 Energies Challenge as well, how to move beyond that. Okay, so this is a week where we are meant to really look at ourselves, look at the world around us, and recognize that this is the way it is. We need to face life on life's terms. And then once we surrender to life on life's terms, we have the capacity in partnership with Spirit to co-create our world anew. So both and, right? Both joy and grief, they dance together. You cannot deny one and only accept the other, right? Okay, and that doesn't mean everybody's going to be crying or whatever. It just means that there's existential grief and fear that the entire world is experiencing right now. Okay, so let's take a look at the 4 cards. And these cards represent events, the way I read them, okay? So they're things that are in process that we're going to notice in ourselves, in other people, and in the world in which we engage, okay? So where is this? This is really profound this week. Okay. First card is Into Me I See. So this relates to the story of intimacy. So the story of when we move from straight survival into, partner, there's others. I'm going to connect to others. And so this reminds me that if we are judging anything outside of ourselves, it's like 1 finger points at the other person and 4 points back at me, right? So there's always elements of that which we are trying to deny, because I'm relating this back to this card, the idea of how do we deny our responsibility and accountability in things. And this says, listen, we're really the same as each other, and that if one grieves, we grieve, and that we cannot say that anyone else is that different, although experiences are different according to the system that we live in. So this is really about the sense of accountability that we feel, and that we're required to feel, and we're being invited to feel, which is that when I see you, I see me. And this is a way we need to start thinking more, that the we is more important than the me. Even though the I, the me, when it's used correctly, it's in service and in contribution, right? And we'll talk about that in a second, because that's what that card is. So in perfect harmony, this is also beautiful because it says, when we consider the other as not other, we are in harmony with the whole, right? When we stop othering. So we have an opportunity to think about this again this week. I don't know what's going on yet because it hasn't happened. Again, we're looking at the week ahead. So this is really about getting this very clearly, that what happens to others happens to us, and it's important for us to recognize that there is no other, right? And then when we know that, then our uniqueness, we're not the same as everybody, but we share this quality with everybody, and yet we're still unique, right? So when we recognize ourselves in the other and we no longer others, you understand what I'm getting at, right? Then all of a sudden our note is clear and we are harmonious with the world, with the whole world. So this is a beautiful invitation this week. Now, these are my two favorites. So Shining Through is one of my favorite cards because of what it means. And it means, when you think about these words, I shine on behalf of the divine, right? So if we look at ourselves as spiritual beings first, human beings second, right? The humanity piece, all the constructs, the systems we've built and all that stuff is a reflection of some of our character flaws. But this reminds us that, wait a sec, we're spirit first. And we're emissaries of the divine. Then this is how our humanity is at its best. So we want to try to move away our ego, right, where we edge God out and bring it in a more healthy way where we ease God's order, EGO. Then I'm here to shine on behalf of the divine. And then Spirit can shine through us, through our impulses as well, to make choices and changes. These are the direct result of our connection to Spirit. And the last card, bearing fruit, is we're going to see what we've planted, right? If you've got weeds in your garden, pull them out, because that's a reflection of what you had planted in the past. What I love about this card too is that with bearing fruit, it reminds me that we need room for redemption. There are changes needed and changes being called upon. And I think that's so important. But there needs to be room for redemption for all of us. And so this quality here of saying this is about amends, right? The capacity to make amends, the capacity to make real change, and it doesn't happen overnight. And so allowing that kind of space for that will bear the fruit. Otherwise, we're going to keep just seeing rotten apples on the ground, right? Because there's no way to replant, or there's no way that the tree gets to blossom again in a healthy way if you're only saying, okay, you had a rotten apple, you're always going to have rotten apples, right? So this is like, no. As long as we can recognize that all of this story is very key for all of us, then this process of change, this transformational process that all of us are in right now, whether we're aware of it or not, or whether we like it or not, brings something very beautiful to everybody. So, wow, this is a profound reading this week. And I hope you can add tomorrow's reading. Again, it's going to be your sun sign, your rising sign, and your moon. So you'll have 3 more cards tomorrow. Actually, you'll have 9 cards because I do 3 cards per astro sign. But then you'll be able to put this whole story together for an intimate glimpse into your personal world. Okay? Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the challenge. I hope you see the link somewhere. Mark is going to come here and point.
All right. Yeah, we've got
Okay,
a
where is
great
it?
challenge. What's it called? Do you remember?
The 7 Energies
Jeez.
Challenge. Well, last year we had 32,000 people that came to
32.
this. Yeah.
Wow.
So we've improved the challenge, and actually it was so great last year.
Yeah.
So we're doing it again, and the reason we're doing it is to get everybody back kind of aligned, because we're a little fragmented. I think we would agree.
Yeah.
Get
COVID brain.
COVID brain. I have it. Oh my gosh. I'm like, I was worried I had Alzheimer's. I kept saying to him, do I have a brain tumor? Like I go in the kitchen, like, what am I doing in here? Hello.
Yes.
I know how to read cards.
All right. Okay, so yes, somewhere on here there's a link to our challenge, and it's going to start
April 14th.
April 14th.
2 days before his birthday.
Yes. Whoa.
Whoa. How old are you going to be?
I'm not saying.
Ah.
Not saying.
He's younger than me. How's that? Yeah. He's always going to be younger than me.
That's right. My mystical pirate.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, guys. We'll see you soon. All right. Don't forget tomorrow. You're going to piece it all together tomorrow. Okay. Mwah. Take care. Okay, YouTubers. Subscribe to my channel. Slap that button. I don't understand this. A year I haven't got it right.
Okay, so
You
first
say
thing
it.
they do is they'll see a subscribe button on the bottom.
Slap it.
Smash it, not
Smash
slap.
it.
The kids don't say slap that button, they say smash
Smash the
that
button. Well,
button.
I'm not a kid.